Hey everybody, welcome back. So today is another one of the top 10 favorite films from each letter. Today is the letter O. So first up is Brian De Palma's Obsession. Now I am a huge Brian De Palma fan. I think I've said that many times. And this is one I saw for the first time semi-recently, actually. I wanted to see it for the longest time, but I actually couldn't really find a copy to watch. And then Scream Factory put it out, so I was able to watch it and stuff, and just fell in love with it like right away. You know, it's one of his earlier films, so it's, you know, you get a little bit more of the raw Brian De Palma in a way, but very pleasantly surprised and definitely happy I finally got a chance to see it. Next up, probably be on a couple people's lists, and that is Old Boy. Old Boy is kind of almost unlike any other movie. It's pretty fascinating and intense and exciting, and can't think of the right word, but I'm sure you know what I mean. And especially, it's just not a film you forget. And like a lot of people, I mean, it just blew me away. Next up is the classic The Omen, and what can I say? I mean, it is just such an incredible film, and revisiting it last year in the more recent box set, I think just made me appreciate it even all the more, just how well every aspect of it is done. And of course, it has that incredible score by Jerry Goldsmith. Next up is Elia Kazan's On the Waterfront, and definitely one of those early films that tried to give kind of a little bit of a realism, you know, real life kind of thing to a story. And it was one of those that was really, I think, sort of adjusting from the old style of filmmaking into a then more modern style. And of course, the performances in that. And I mean, obviously Marlon Brando, which to me probably is Marlon Brando's best performance. Definitely my favorite. Next one is very much a more recent one, and that is Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, my favorite film of last year. As I've mentioned several times, I'm a huge Tarantino fan, and his style I just really respond to. And this one, just like his other films, I mean, I just loved it, you know, from the moment it started to the moment it ended. Next one is One Dark Night from Tom McLoughlin, who would later go on and do like Friday the 13th Part 6. And it's just a fun, atmospheric horror film. I mean, obviously it's very low budget, so a couple limitations, but overall I think it's really just a very fun and effective film, and it's definitely one that I think is a little bit underappreciated, especially because it's like, I think it's like a PG rated film, but it doesn't really feel like a PG rated film. Not that there's anything in it that sort of, you know, it's sort of over the top, but still. Next one might be a little divisive, and that is Nicholas Winding Refn's Only God Forgives. Now that's a film that I admit not a lot of people like, but I absolutely love it. Now my journey there was kind of interesting. The first time I saw the film, I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I had a mixed reaction. I almost didn't know what to think of it, but the thing is, I wanted to actually go see it. I felt compelled to watch it again. I don't remember if it was I think it was the following week or maybe 2 weeks after that I went back and saw it again, and then like it just started clicking for me. I saw it a third time. By the third time, I knew I just loved it. And of course, he's a big horror film fan and stuff, and you really see, I think, a lot of the elements, the horror that he loves really in all of his films. Definitely a weird film. It's probably more arty than it really should be. Maybe the offbeatness of it is really just sort of what I love about it. Next up is Dario Argento's Opera, and some would argue it's probably his last really great film. I've liked actually a lot more of his ones that came after that, but I mean, I think from that initial run of ones that are really considered his main classics, yeah, that probably does sort of round out those, because it does have all of his great elements. It has the amazing camera work, it has the over-the-top violence of it, just those bizarre, insane elements, and even the ending I actually came to appreciate more. I think for the longest time I was like, what is up with that ending? But I think semi-understand it more now than I used to, I think. Next one is a comedy I love, and that is Orgazmo, the second film from Trey Parker of South Park fame, and it is just so funny and hilarious. I remember when I watched it, I was like, I have to show this to a buddy of mine. Next time I saw him, I was like, we have to watch this, because he was also a huge like South Park fan, for example, and we both just laughed our butts off. And it's definitely one I've watched multiple times over the years, and every single time, I mean, I'm just laughing like crazy. And of course, that fantastic theme song. It's just, oh man. And then finally is Larry Cohen's original Gangstas. I hate saying it like that. The original title was Warzone, but still they changed the title to that, and that's fine. It's a film that I think almost a couple years too early because of what it was trying to do, because it was sort of like a reunion of some of the great blaxploitation stars. And I think it just would have played better if it came out just, a little bit later. But it's one that has a lot of what makes Larry Cohen films so great, in it. I mean, it's fun and exciting and has some great humor in some places. And of course, it has just all these amazing characters, obviously played by these amazing actors. For me, too, what also made it kind of special is actually one I saw, when did I see it? Maybe 6 years ago, I think, for the first time. And the thing is, it was filmed in Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana has a lot of like abandoned buildings and things. I filmed a couple projects actually in Gary, Indiana. So when I saw the film, it was almost like seeing all these places that I filmed at. It was just like, oh my God, there's the old train station, there's the post office, there's that old church, and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of weird. It was like a revisit to all those locations. So an interesting assortment of movies for the letter O. I definitely want to hear what ones you guys pick, because I'm sure there's plenty that I've missed. Keep an eye out for the next one, which happens to be the letter P. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.